Alright, so welcome back to another unboxing video. For this video, I'll be unboxing Wingspan Oceania. So, the kinds of birds that live in Oceania. Well, I'm expecting birds from New Zealand. I'm also expecting birds from Australia. So, we'll see what kind of birds are in this expansion. What kind of birds live in Australia, though? Well, there's a bird called a rosella. They're kind of like a little parrot, but they're very colorful. They live in a small section of Australia that's very tropical, almost like a rainforest almost. What other kind of birds? Well, there's the emu or the cassowary. Those are flightless birds. Kind of expecting to see at least one of those birds in this game. So definitely some interesting birds. I'm also expecting to see the kiwi from New Zealand in here, and I'm also expecting to see the little penguin from New Zealand in this expansion. So we'll see what other birds are in here besides that. Maybe a marabou, stork, or something like that. So let's open up and see what we have in here. So here's, obviously, the rule book, and so here's the rule book. Once again, it's linen finish, I believe. That's a cassowary. An appendix, and then obviously all the bird powers for all the different birds in this game. Cool. Very cool. And then obviously the rules for playing with Automa for the solo variant. Oh, there we go. And obviously other new stuff like the new dice and nectar and all that. So new rules. We have new eggs, yellow eggs. So that's cool. Got new eggs. Yellow eggs. We also have the new dice. So if you're going to play with Oceania, you're going to have to play with these dice. Because now there's nectar on some of the dice. Or on all the dice, actually. But there's nectar in a wheat or seed, I should say. And a nectar and a fruit. And then everything else is the same, pretty much, on these dice. So that's cool. So new dice. Let's set those over there. We got a new score pad. So, new score pad. It includes nectar. This bag is going to be for the nectar tokens. And then I've got, obviously, the cards here. We'll open those last. Cool. And then, let's see what else we got here. So here's the nectar tokens. They're like a wild food, from what I understand. These are a sort of a wild food, but you lose them at the end of each round. So if you're going to collect them, you better use them before the end of the round. Otherwise, they don't get utilized. So let's set that aside. And that. Okay, here's the new player boards. They changed the player boards too. So if you're going to play with Oceania, you're going to have to play with the new and improved boards as well, because there are certain things that happen with the nectar. So you're going to need to have this. And it's, you know, it's not, I think I prefer the original artwork on the original one, because you could see the artwork a little bit better. And here it's a little darker, so it's harder to see the artwork. I mean, I can make everything else out that's important to make out. So let's compare. Let us compare these player boards with the original. Okay, so here's the original, and here's the new. You'll notice for gain food from bird feeder, for the forest, you have a dice, meaning you just get one food. Here, it's different. Here you get a food, as in a dice, but you also get access to trading, discarding cards for an additional dice for food. See, originally, you didn't get access to that until you got a bird in this section of your aviary. Now it's the first one. So now you always have this as an option the first time. So even before you have a bird, this is an option. So that's kind of interesting. But then on the next one, things are also different. You'll notice here we have an indication of any kind of food. And I'm not sure what that symbol means. So let's look that up. What does that symbol mean? I'm pretty sure it's in the other one. Okay, here we go. So that's for the forest. You may discard any one food to reset the bird feeder. So now with the second one, you can discard one food to reset the bird feeder before you take 2 dice out of the bird feeder. So that's kind of interesting. That's definitely new. And then for the third one, you've got 2 dice here in the original and 2 dice here in the original. But now you can also discard a card to gain a 3rd dice from the bird feeder. So that's cool. On the fourth one, on the original, we have 2 dice, and then you could discard a card for a 3rd dice. This one, instead, you have all of this, obviously, just like with here. You still have all of this here, but you can reset the bird feeder first before taking dice out. And then for the last, well, actually the second to last one, original, it's 3 dice, but here you can take 3 dice out and discard a card for a 4th dice. And then if you manage to fill in every single slot in this forest part of the aviary, you have access to 4 dice, which is cool, because the only way to get 4 dice on the original board would be to get 3 and then to discard a card for an additional dice from the bird feeder. So now you ensure that you will get 4 dice every time if you can fill in that aviary. Okay, let's take a look at the next big difference. So the next big difference is the eggs. So here we have 2 eggs. You'd get 2 eggs before you even put a bird here in the lay eggs on birds area. Now, you don't get 2 eggs unless you first discard either a card or a food to get a 2nd egg. So now it's harder to get eggs. It's easier to get food, but now it's harder to get eggs. Maybe they did that because players would spend the last few turns doing an egg rush where they would just get tons of eggs. They'd spend all their actions getting eggs to get some extra points that way. So maybe they downsized the amount of eggs you can get, so that way you can't, just rack up tons of points based on how many eggs you have, to make it more strategic, probably. Because now you have to discard a food or a card to get your 2nd egg. So you'll have to do this a lot, extra times to get eggs, because you're not going to be getting as many eggs unless you discard a card or a food in the process. So it may not be as lucrative to do an egg run at the end of the game. Of course, you get 2 eggs in the second slot. So once a bird is put here, and you do this action, you will get 2 eggs, but there has to be a bird here first. And then that's where it is also different, because once again, it's 2 eggs, and then you can discard a food for an egg, for the third egg. And at least it gives you an option. At least here you have the option of either a card or a food. It doesn't have to be food, it can be a card instead. So that's better than the original, which was just food. And then for the third slot, we have 2 eggs, and then once again, you have to discard one of these for the third egg. Here you just get 3 eggs. On the fourth slot, you get 3 eggs, and if you discard a food, you get a fourth egg. Here, you get 2 eggs, and then you can either discard a card or a food to get an egg, and if you want another egg after that, you have to discard another card or another food to get an egg, or one of each, if you will, to get 4 eggs from that location, when here you would only have to discard 1 food to get 4 eggs. Here you have to discard 2 food to get 4 eggs, or 2 cards to get 4 eggs, or 1 of each to get 4 eggs. So definitely a lot more, a lot better if you ask me. People won't be doing the egg run at the end of the game at least. And then here you get 4 eggs, and now you get 3 eggs, and if you want the 4th, you're going to have to discard a card or a food. So the only way you get 4 eggs without discarding anything is once you have this entire area full of, obviously, birds. And if you look at the original, you could get 4 eggs, plus discard a food for the 5th egg. So that's also different. Now what about the cards? Are the cards better than they were? Well, here, you would only get 1 card until you put a bird here. Here you get a card, and then if you discard an egg, which is cool, or discard a nectar token, you can get a second card. So that's cool. That could be an additional way of getting rid of those nectar tokens that you get a ton of sometimes and don't utilize. It gives you another possibility of utilizing the nectar. And then here, in order to get the second card in the original board, you would have to discard an egg to get the second card. Here, you get 2 cards. So that, I think I like that even better, because it's easier to get cards now. So more birds, obviously. And you can also use a food to, let's see here. You can discard 1. You may discard any 1 food to reset the bird tray. So if you don't like the bird tray and you want to have a choice of 3 birds, you can reset the bird tray by discarding a food, which makes it more likely that you will try your luck with the bird tray instead of the deck itself of birds for a random bird card. So that's cool. I like that. And then in the third location, you finally would get 2 cards in the third location on the original board. But here you have a possibility of getting 3, which is cool. And then in the 4th slot, you could get 2, and then a possibility of a 3rd card. And then once again over here, it's also, again, a possibility of a 3rd card, but you have the option to reset the bird feeder if you want to. Here you get 3 cards. Here you get 3 cards, plus an additional card if you discard one of those 2 things. And then here you get 4 cards automatically, and the only way you could get 4 cards would be to discard an egg with the last spot. So that's the biggest differences with the player board, with the exception that now we have something that has to do with these nectar tokens, and I'm not exactly sure what those are supposed to be for exactly. But that's cool. So that's a really cool new player board, with the exception of the artwork on the background, because I like the original better because it's brighter. You can see that there's clearly water and obviously a plain area and a forest in the background for sure. So that's cool. So that's all of that, but then we still have the cards for this unboxing video to go through. So let's take a look. Let's take a gander at all of the bird cards and see what kind of birds we get with this expansion. Like I said, I predicted a few, so we'll see if I get my predictions. Okay, so that's one. I just need the other opened. Okay, let's take a look at all these birds. And let's bring the camera closer while we're at it. I do not know how to pronounce that, but Tui? Not sure on that one. That's an interesting bird. I've never actually heard of that bird. Then we have a wedged tail eagle. I've seen those before. Ooh, I've seen these. White-bellied sea eagle. White-faced heron. A willy wagtail. An Australian owlet nightjar. Ooh, those are cool. Nightjars are cool. Horsfield's brown cuckoo. I probably won't name them all. Sacred kingfisher. So that's new, game end. So these are things that activate at the game end. So you'll play them and they won't activate until the game's over. Ooh, this is a beautiful finch. The Gould's finch. Ooh, it's a kakapo. This is from New Zealand, I think. Yes, Australia. It's from Australia for sure. It's a nocturnal parrot. Oh, cool, 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 cool. I love those. Ooh, a cormorant. Ooh, it's a hornbill. Ooh, that's a very beautiful hornbill. Now, they live in Africa, too. And Asia, I think, as well. But I don't remember them living in Australia. Oh, wait. Australia, it looks like they live in... This species lives in Asia. Okay, so it's going to have birds that live in Asia, too, apparently. That's good to know. Or possibly. Ooh, the Kia. This is the one I was thinking of that lives in New Zealand. Okay, these are cool parrots. Ooh, a lapwing. Here's the kiwi. That's one of the ones I was anticipating. It's a North Island brown kiwi. Ah, this is the other bird I was wanting to see in this game. The southern cassowary. This is also known as the raptor of the rainforest. It's like or should I say, it's known as the velociraptor of the rainforest because it is dangerous. Those talons are like dagger sharp, and they're super fast at kicking. So if you get kicked by this bird, you can probably kick you 3 times in a second. You're going to be needing to go to the hospital for sure. So very dangerous birds. And then we got some new goals to go for and a few other cards here. But we still have more birds, so let's go through the next stack. Ooh, it's a shoveler. An ibis. Australian ibis. Now that's a beautiful species of duck. An Australian shell duck. A broga. That's another bird I was hoping to see in this one. Brown falcon. A bird of paradise. Ooh, that's beautiful. Ah, here it is, the rosella. We used to have these at our zoo that I volunteer at. So I know a lot about these guys. Emu. I was hoping to see this one. Beautiful. I do not know how to pronounce that, but boy, is that beautiful. Never heard of that one either. Ooh, it's a laughing kookaburra. We used to have these at our zoo as well. And they do sort of laugh. Oh, awesome. Awesome bird. Ooh, it's a frigate bird. Hey, look at that. The little penguin. This is another one I was anticipating. Little penguin. Ooh, it's a cockatoo. And another duck. A maned duck. A many-colored fruit dove. Ooh, that's very beautiful. A Princess Stephanie's Astrapia. Well, that's I've never heard of that bird. That is beautiful, though. Another bird I've never heard of. Ooh, it's a lorikeet. Rainbow lorikeet. Ooh, a red-necked avocet. Got long little. These are shorebirds. They use those beaks to go into the shoreline, to get all sorts of little insects and things like that, because these beaks can go down pretty far. They're really cool. Ooh, a red-winged parrot. Oh, that's so beautiful. Ooh, it's a regent bowerbird. A royal spoonbill. See, they got see that? That looks like a spoon, doesn't it? That bill. That's why they call them spoonbills. Oh, that's a beautiful heron. Another species of owl. Or actually, sort of, the other one was more of an owlet than an owl, but... A lyrebird. A superb lyrebird. And a tawny frogmouth. Those are cool, too. Tawny frogmouths are cool. So, that's all of the birds. So, lots of new birds, lots of new cards, lots of new abilities. Oh, can't wait to learn how to play with all these new birds. So, thank you guys for watching this unboxing video. If you guys liked the unboxing video, especially if you liked some of these birds, like maybe this guy here, the tawny frogmouth, or that Rosella, for instance, or many of the other birds that were really cool in this one, go ahead and leave a like. And I'll see you guys again next time.